All right, welcome to this next episode of Own Your Brand Academy. Today we have Tom Naylor. He's a construction management, what is your title, bro?
I'm what would you call me? Well, I'm a general contractor. I do mostly residential construction. And so I've basically transitioned from being on hands, on deck all the time in the business to now I'm managing larger crews and getting things going on a little bit larger scale. So it's a really good time to be in construction right now. Things are really busy and really doing really well. So it's a matter of getting the right people in the right place at the right time with the right tools in their hand and the right materials to make it happen.
Well, that's the intro then. So in this episode of Own Your Brand Academy, we're talking to Tom Naylor. He's going to be telling us a little bit about his business, how he's implementing some digital marketing strategies to help him, and some systems he's implementing that's making life in the construction business a lot easier for him, a lot more profitable, and how he's able to help a lot more people in that on this episode of Own Your Brand Academy. All right.
Nice.
Welcome back, Tom.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So great intro. I was actually going to cut into that and go back, but it's a good intro anyways.
Perfect.
So tell us a little bit about your business.
Sure.
And you actually have some pretty cool systems that you're building now that a lot of our people, our small business owners out there can take to heart, or entrepreneurs can learn how to model their business a little bit differently when they're trying to bring on or onboard a new customer or qualify them or teach them.
Sure.
And especially those in the construction business. So yep. Tell us a little bit about your business, how long you've been doing it, and then just what are the problems that you saw that you're coming up with solutions for right now?
Sure, okay. Well, I've been in construction for about 15 years. I've owned my own company for about 12 of those. We really tailor ourselves more towards the custom home building, remodeling, the design work. Most contractors will come in and just kind of build whatever. We really like to walk the client through a better customer experience where we can, start with the actual design in mind, come in and get the goals of what that project needs to be, really tailor that experience to what their outlook is on that exact project. Anybody can come in and swing a hammer and make it happen, but right. In order to give the customer that real experience, you've got to be able to give them that roadmap forward, be able to manage those expectations during the project. Make sure that you're meeting all of those expectations. That's where a lot of the headaches and problems come in is if you're not planning that properly, if you're not scheduling people out on the right time frame. There's always things that come up especially in remodeling work, just because there's things that, you uncover a wall and you find mold, or you find right. that the framing has termite damage and things like that. So there's those things that you need to make sure that you're open with the customer and make sure that you're letting them know that this is just an outline when you get started, that there's going to be things that are going to change and evolve. We usually take our customers through a design process first. So we'll come in and we'll do kind of a needs assessment of that actual project where they're kind of looking for, this is the space, this is what we really want to get out of it, this is how we're going to use it. And make sure that we can fit their budget, of course, but also give them something that exceeds their expectations in the process.
So you mentioned a couple of things that I think a lot of people who are managing their businesses or any kind of client interaction that's an ongoing one versus a one-time purchase. Sure. You said that there's planned things, there's unplanned things, right?
Always, yep.
There's
always.
Managing expectations and how important it is at that beginning and the onset, because there's always going to be unplanned things. If any one of you is managing like a process or a system or an ongoing thing besides a one-time point of sale purchase, and you have to interact with the customer on a lengthier time frame, there's definitely the unplanned, right?
Yes.
So expectations is huge.
Yep.
And especially in the construction business, when it's going to be something that's a permanent part of their home,
right.
They're going to be looking at it every day, they're living there with their family, their expectations are a lot higher.
Yes.
Right? Than just
they're
somebody
watching you every day.
Right.
You've got to be on the ball every day. Where in commercial construction, you have a little bit more hands off. There's times where the owners or the owner's agent will come in and do the inspections and things like that, but you're in somebody's personal space. Right. You are basically becoming part of their family for that time because you're sharing that space with them. So you need to make sure that you're cognizant of that you're making sure that you're respectful of their house, that you're respectful of their time, that you try and make sure that not just their expectations are managed, but also that you're exceeding those, that you're able to, give them that roadmap and give them that path forward, but then also add those little things in that make you unique outside of the rest of the industry.
So the planning is really important for that. And I know within the construction business especially, there's a whole like onboarding process, and not even onboarding process, it's actually a whole proposal area of the business where you interact with the client multiple times, they're getting bids from other people, deciding who they want to hone in on. And you've come up with a pretty ingenious way to kind of both educate the customer at the same time that you get to propose them.
Right.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that so some of our listeners in constructions and all of us that are in any kind of project management business can get an idea about something that we could use and implement in our own business?
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm really excited about just this last year or so. We've really started to hone that in and be able to create that duplicatable system. We've started to build that into an online sales funnel format where we're getting an outline structure of the videos that you need to have on an onboarding sequence or an application funnel, if you will, where you're going through and you're saying, okay, this is what you can expect from the process. This is where we're going to start. These are the steps to go through. But there's a lot of those little intricacies in that period where you've got to have that one-on-one with the customer. One thing that we've started to establish is creating an online course where people can go through and do that kind of on their own time, be able to go through some of those design sequences, going and looking for pictures online, trying to find out what's in their mind and what they're trying to envision. And in order to get that into somebody else's mind, we find it really useful to have those pictures available. So we'll have our clients go to Houzz or Pinterest, some of the other sites that give you that visual aspect of it, and then we'll take that overall design, and then we'll create a 3D rendering and a model.
Wow.
Where customers can actually go through and actually envision what it is, because a lot of times it's hard to envision from where you're starting to actually what it's going to look like at the end. And we find the 3D renderings will really give that more comfortable feeling with, okay, and now I'm ready to spend $10, $80, $100,000 sometimes on certain kitchen and bathroom projects. So we try and create that system online to onboard that customer, but as well give them other tools once we start that design process to where it's more of an automated process. So if you're in the construction industry,
right,
there's a lot of time spent on estimates. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of time spent one-on-one with the customer, to where if you can give them the information.
Even before you get the actual job
always.
Itself, right?
Yep, always.
And I had a friend back in my home city that was telling me that they'll spend, I don't know how many, 6 to 10 hours sometimes, proposing a client, and you don't even have the job yet.
Minimum, yeah. Yeah, a lot of times you're just doing that 6 to 8 hours to get to the point where you understand enough of what the customer wants in order to even know what kind of number to give them. And so a lot of the drawbacks of getting free estimates, in my mind, is it does a disservice to the contractor because he's working with limited information, right, and it does a disservice to the homeowner because they're not getting a true buildable version of what that actual cost and timeline is going to look like.
So your system is an online process where they go through this portal, mm-hmm, they kind of fill out some information, mm-hmm, they get a 3D rendering at the end of it, I'm assuming,
yep,
and they get a little bit of an education on what they're actually trying to do, because a lot of people probably don't know what they want at first. That's what this whole interaction is, a iterative process. They go back and forth.
Right.
How many hours of time do you think you're going to save contractors and even homeowners by going through this process on their own time with this online portal?
Sure, a lot of it is trying to streamline that process so there's not a lot of wasted time. We're trying to minimize the interactions between each party, do virtual meetings when at all possible so you're not taking down from either of those persons' daytime schedules. And so usually a design process can take anywhere from 20 to 40 hours to really go through that and get all the details, and a lot of it is the onus is on the homeowner to go through and, okay, this is what I want it to look like. Yeah. There's a lot of homework involved. Yeah. And so we try to guide that homework process and saying, okay, these are the most effective use of your time in this process, and just focus on this thing at once. And don't get overwhelmed by all of the different details, because that's a big problem with homeowners, that is they get it started and they think it's going to be great and everything, and then there's 100 decisions to make.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of them you're going to have to live with that for 10, 15, 20 years, hopefully, if they build it right. And so you want to make sure that that selections process is streamlined, but it's still, the onus is on the homeowner to make those decisions.
Right.
You know, I'd love to build what I'd love to build, but I'm trying to make those homes livable for the customer. They've got to really live.
And for the contractor, your process is saving several hours probably of time if they implement it correctly and is it just basically getting more into a digital framework and an online process to help get those smaller decisions out of the way more quickly so that you can focus on the larger picture.
Yeah, we really focus on the overall picture and then give our clients those tasks to manage on their own and say, okay, this is the best course of action to pick out your flooring, your tile work, your countertops, your everything. And then we usually ask them to visualize those pictures, select about 3 pictures per room, and then give us those aspects of each picture that they like. And then we try and incorporate that vision and put it together with the locally sourced materials that you have available, because region by region you're going to have different availability of certain product.
That's so cool.
We really try and make it so that it's going to be functional for any contractor in any part of the world, really, because that system is very much the same. It's just a matter of making sure that the homeowner understands that process and doesn't waste a lot of time on it. So usually we're saving about, I would say, 50 to 75% of that downtime of having to go through and meet with the client numerous times. We usually try and make it targeted into maybe 2 or 3 different interactions, and some of those, like I said, could be virtual. So we're really trying to streamline that process where there's not a lot of travel time. You get out what you need to get and no more. So we usually, by doing that, you're going to save not only time in the design process itself, but also time in the construction process, because a lot of the cost overruns and overages and then time schedule blowouts are done because you haven't planned out that material availability, the subcontractors, getting all that time scheduling, because there's a lot of dependencies in construction. So you've got to get the framing done before you can have the electrical in. You've got to have, you know, certain things finished and completed before you can move on to the next sequential step.
And this helps a lot with that too.
Absolutely, because it gives you the full rundown before you ever start demoing anything. And so we really try and keep our on-site time as minimal as possible and try and minimize that discomfort of having somebody else in your home, because it's a little bit of a weird experience to just open up your doors and say, hello stranger, come in and you know,
and then
have free reign,
interaction with you for months at a time, or however long the project is.
Yep.
Lastly, for some of our construction viewers and anyone who's doing project management, what are the last things you want them to know about the direction you're trying to go with your program, and where they can get a little bit more information about it if they're interested?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great. What we're doing is we're creating a training course. We're going to have a 5-day challenge where you can come in and be able to kind of experience what that course is going to be about. We'll give you a couple of different tasks to go through. I'll be interviewing all of our contributors, so we're bringing in experts in their respective industries. I know you'll be helping us with the SEO, so it's going to be great for that part of it. And I'm really trying to integrate all of those contributors together so that we're making a complete all-in-one solution, so that you can automate and streamline all of your onboarding and marketing process, but also be able to get paid for your estimates, which is important because that's valuable
one of the biggest
time.
points I want you all to understand. He's talking about this summit that we're going to be helping construction people in the construction business learn about online marketing and how they can apply elements of marketing and online marketing to their business. Tom's specific project, which I think is really exciting, is going to teach construction owners who are going to do remodeling or new home or any kind of construction how to streamline the estimate part and get paid for the estimate while training to have a better customer, telling them about the process and how it works, and also getting everything he just said kind of lined up so you save a lot of time and interaction. Tell us a little bit about when they can or where they can find out about this summit that's coming up.
Sure.
Or maybe ongoing.
Yep. No, we're going to be doing a 5-day challenge. We'll be doing the actual summit a little bit later on, but we want to really get some contractors in, get them to experience that process, be able to iterate and make that program a lot better for each different type of industry. Anything that you have to go in and do any sort of design work or any kind of planning and design to get an actual materials list produced, that's really who we're going to tailor this this activity towards. So, you know, there's electrical contractors, HVAC contractors that have to come in and do an assessment of the space and be able to design a system and an actual, not just the estimate, but the actual building proposal in order to do that, right? And so our program is really tailored towards a contractor that has to do that design process, but then also to make that digital, to make that so that you can onboard customers without having to have that, you know, everyday interaction.
Right.
Be able to get your email automation sequences going, doing chatbots so that you can keep up to date with what the customer is looking at doing, and being able to really create a better customer experience while also streamlining the process.
So if some of the things he said, like chatbots you never heard before, the way you can find out about how it can save time and energy in your business is going to, or what website can they find more information about?
Yeah, right now we're doing everything through our Facebook group, which is Build Masters. You can go ahead and look there, and then we'll have all of the links for everything that we've got going on, both from the challenge to when you can get the course that's going to be launching. And then we'll do a full 5-week implementation challenge. Nice. So after you get into the course, you can start consuming the material and getting a little bit more understanding of chatbots and you know, website design and SEO, because most contractors don't really know SEO.
You'll be learning the basics of it, trust me. It's not anything that you're going to have to be advanced or know any coding. It's just understanding the basics of marketing applied to online, so that you can start getting more customers, saving more time, and go back to doing what you do best. So go to Build Masters on Facebook, Build Masters on Facebook. It's a group they can join. Okay. And
we'll have that free group, and then we'll do our own smaller mastermind groups and our coaching groups once they get into the program. It'll be a great time.
So looking forward to it. We'll see you guys there. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Own Your Brand Academy. Thank you, Tom Naylor.
Awesome.
Go to Build Masters on Facebook, and we'll see you on the groups at the other end of this. Take care and talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.